Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our blank screen series at the Creator Space here.
So
So
welcome
welcome
everyone
everyone.
to our blank screen series at the with the Creator Space project here, and this is an ongoing series that we're looking at, to continue the exploration of how do we go from, you have a blank screen, whatever kind of software it is, whatever kind of practice you're doing. So today we're going to be looking at writing and illustrating a comic with ProCreate. So we have Jeff Wilson, a local animator, illustrator, cartoonist. He'll be taking us through that. How do we get from that blank screen and work our way into having illustrating a comic? So that's our goal. So I just want to thank all our partners in this project. So we have the Canada Council for the Arts. We have all our library partners: Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, Wasaga Beach Public Library. And I just want to let everyone know that you can access iPads through the libraries. They're out there available to take out. So we have ProCreate loaded on them at the Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library. Specifically, have iPads that have that software loaded. So do check it out. Whatever you're learning, you can rewatch this session. You can go over things again. But again, how do you start from a blank screen, and how do we move our way forward from there? So again, we have Jeff Wilson who'll be taking us through this. So and then ProCreate software. If you do want to buy it, we've chosen this for demonstrations and for teaching purposes because it does offer a low-cost app. So it's not expensive at all. It's about $15 to buy. $10 I think for the iPhone version as well. So really amazing app that you can use. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Jeff. And here we go. Here's Jeff.
Okay, and thank you, Tom, and welcome everybody. I hope we're having a good day so far, and hope you're ready to have some fun on whatever you're working on today. Hopefully, it's a good day for you, and sometimes you don't feel creative, but you can change that. It's just a matter of a few things. Tom very aptly discussing the blank page, and that's every time I sit down and try to come up with a new idea for something that I'm doing. I've been doing a few different projects recently, but even in my day job where I'm designing graphics and ads for people, and it's the same thing. You're sitting down to a blank page. You got to make something that's going to be interesting to look at the end of the day. So it's the same with all the creative skill sets and the different media that we work in. It's something that it's a daunting thing when you first get there, but you can. The main thing is to just keep working at it, just to not give up at it, and to take breaks, frequent breaks if you need to. I can tell you my experiences with blank pages are go from I just can't come up with anything to I have 10 ideas before I sit down. It can be a total, it's usually the exact opposite to what it should be. So always expect it, and as you do it time after time, you will develop confidence in your work. My main advice is to just sit down and just put something on your iPad, or just doodle. Just doodling can be the best way of triggering an idea. I found that sometimes I'll sit there at work and I'll think, well, I've got to come up with a cartoon for another thing tonight. How am I going to do that? But the best thing to do is to just doodle something, and that's where the ideas come from. It relaxes the mind. It triggers so many things. And always remember, your first doodle is really your starting point. It can be doing anything. Let's get right into it. Actually, right now, I'm done a little prep here, and just before the class, and I was doing an idea here. If we can transfer it to the screen, I'm just going to move my my camera down to the iPad here. Now I have the thing I started with was I had this figure. I just sketched out a character here. I'm just going to just kind of fill him in a bit, give him a few details, and the character is just kind of a basic character. 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . 。 . 。 . . . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 .
And I just kind of sketched out a
who's fumbling through his pockets for something. So you can see he's reaching down here. He's got this hand helping reach into his pocket here. And he's reaching into his pants pocket. So there we go. And so it's a little more clear what's going on now. At first it looks something quite bad, but anyway, this is a little clearer what's going on now. He's reaching into his pocket here. And you can see the lines here following around. And I thought, well, that's kind of boring, but it starts something. It starts something. Why would he be reaching in his pocket? It creates a story for us to work on. And the next panel, we see him with something. It could be we use your imagination as to what that would be. What could that be? It could be anything. He finds something in his pocket. So we've gone from this idea here. He's reaching into his pocket to this idea. He's found something there. Okay. And as we're going along, we can, fill out the figures here. And of course, maybe before this, I've done half an hour of gesture sketches where I'm just kind of doodling different positions and different poses. He's found something. So maybe we could even have him smiling or a look of shock or a look of surprise on his face. And his eyebrows up, surprise. Or maybe we don't want that. Maybe we want him, let's undo that with our undo tool, which is on the bottom left there. Maybe we could have a big smile on his face and maybe his mouth partly open here. Happy he's found something there. So then we see he's walking now. He's got this item in his hand, his, her, they. It doesn't have to be male, doesn't have to be female, it doesn't have to be a person. It can be a monkey, it can be a pumpkin head, it could be, it's I say that because it's the day before Halloween, so it could be a Halloween gag, it could be a pumpkin head guy, your character that's carrying something here. So he's moving along. To see the stories come along, it's moving along toward, it's moving somewhere now. So we've got 3 panels done. We've got 3 panels planned out here. Now, he's come to an ice cream stand. So we started, let's go back here. Let's do a bit of review here. We started with the guy fumbling in his pocket for something. Very simple, basic idea. It means nothing. But we've established the idea that here's a guy, he's nowhere in particular. He's just maybe on the street or somewhere. He's reached in his pocket. He's found something. And now he's walking somewhere. And he could either, what's the rest of the story? Has he got a smile on his face? Yeah. If he has a smile on his face, he has he's got an idea for something, maybe for this thing he's holding. He's on his way somewhere to do something. Well, then I decided to take him to an ice cream stand. And here's a guy at the ice cream stand holding the item that he had found in his pocket. So he's given it to this guy. And we've got a lot of clues here. We've got an ice cream stand, ice cream, and we've got our fellow here. Has handed over his coin. Yeah, let's just, the arms don't mean anything at this point. They probably just at a side here. So, so we can start brainstorming. What do we do to finish this idea off? He's at the ice cream stand. Well, maybe it's a piece of lint that he's found in his pocket. And the ice cream vendor could say, yeah, I'm going to need a bit more pocket lint to pay for that tiger tail ice cream you want. Okay, that's one idea we could do. Or he might have found a piece of chewing gum. Maybe he'll say, maybe he said, can you put this in, can I get a break if I add this into my bubble gum flavored ice cream? So your brain is going now. Your brain is starting to come up with ideas. You might have 16 or 17 different punchlines for this one particular gag, which is really great. You can write them down. You don't have to write them on the drawing. You could write them down on a piece of paper elsewhere. But it could be another. It could be money. It could be like cash. It could be a coin. I mean, we don't in Canadian currency. I haven't seen a penny for a very long time, since the toonies and loonies came along and they declassified the pennies. So it could be like he could be saying, it could be a penny, and he's saying, yeah, we haven't sold penny ice cream since 1962 or something like that. It could be that's not very strong, but I mean, this is the idea, right? You get the bad ones out first. You get all the bad jokes out of the way first, and then then with your brain moving, your brain starting to come up with the ideas, you get the good ones start to come out. Or the other thing you do is maybe you may think, oh, it'd be good if he had a few things in there, so you could maybe add some things in back here too, so you can go back and reinvent all this stuff again. So you could go back here and put more stuff in the guy's pocket that he's found, and he could say, okay, piece of bubble gum, a piece of pocket lint, and a penny. We're going to need about 50 more cents before we can get you that tiger tail ice cream. So it just is a matter of just brainstorming. And you can go back and you can rework the whole gag. You can right from the start. If you have something a direction that you think you can take this in, that would pay off at the end in a good gag. And the other thing I noticed here was the flow of this gag. When I first did this sketch here, I had this guy in this position, and I realized it didn't flow very well in the panels. They don't have any panel borders here, so it is a comic strip, a comic strip in every way that a comic strip is, but the movement in every scene is toward the opposite direction. It seems to be fighting itself. It's going in the opposite direction. So with the great power of ProCreate, I flipped each sketch of each scene, and now I have him facing to the right, because our comic strip, because we read left to right, the comic strip ideally should flow left to right. So I changed the whole flow of the comic. So now he is, so that was a big error on my part, and that's, I made an error, but I corrected it because I recognized it later. But it was, so that shows you that you've, the original idea is good. You went through all the stages, but then you realized, the flow is totally off on this. It should be left to right. The whole package should flow correctly. So now we've got a good left to right flow, and that's the way we should have it. Everything should be flowing this way, and you'll see that. Okay, he's found the thing in his pocket, things or whatever. Now he's walking this way, and he's arrived at the ice cream stand, and everything is left to right now, and it's gonna pay off better in the gag. I think as we look at it, we're noticing that the flow is much better. It's the way it should have been done in the first place, but we're toying with the idea. We're not giving it a lot of detail yet. We're just writing it. Basically, when you're writing it, you can go back and forth many times, and then we're going to, once we have the gag, once we're happy with something, we might be happy with one of the ideas we had, and then we can start finishing the drawing. So I think we had a real nice look in that other sketch, which was kind of And again, the story doesn't have to be, sorry, the story has to be clear, of course, but your characters don't have to be highly detailed. They can just be round shapes. Very subtle shapes. They don't have to be terribly detailed. Let's try this ice cream vendor here, and we'll. Yeah, he doesn't have to be hugely detailed. Give him a couple of eyes there, and maybe he's got a big mustache. Ice cream vendors. I have no idea what the ice cream vendor uniform looks like, so I'm just guessing at it. This might be what it looks like. It certainly looks like a classic type of street vendor type costume that you might have. And again, you can use in cartoons. We're about the only industry that is allowed to use stereotypes anymore because we draw such simple items. We need to convey what's going on quickly, and we need to. So a stereotype. If you have something that looks like, well, that might be a street vendor. As long as it looks as much like a street vendor as you can make it, that's the goal. It doesn't have to have all the ornate costuming that you might have in a film or in a stage play or anything like that. It can be just, it can be just a hat and a mustache, or maybe a badge or something. I don't know. Anyway, it looks official. Anyway, this looks like quite an official ice cream vendor place here. So what do we do for a punchline? Yeah, we still haven't really come up with a punchline. I like some pocket lint. Yeah, so let's just write that. Let's get some text here, and we will add some text to that. I like that idea. So this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to add in a text file here, add text, and we're going to write just a bit of text here so he could say we didn't say that. We said bubble gum. Bubble gum. Pocket lint. Okay, and just make sure that's spelled correctly. Pocket lint. L-I-N-T, comma. Or let's not do a comma. Let's do and. A 2002 penny. I'll need, let's see, let's get a dollar sign here. So that's always fun. Let's go to uppercase here and the dollar sign. Let's say $3.50 more. More. Now I'm just going to highlight all this text here. So you can do that if you click on it. I've chosen this font, but I can make it something else. I really like the handwritten stuff, the Jack Armstrong BB, which is probably not something that's on everybody's iPad. And then I'm just going to increase the leading here so it's a little tighter, and I'm going to reduce my font size here too. Okay, and I think I'm going to increase my leading a bit more too, so I have a bit more space there. And I may even make it smaller than this because I can see already that's a lot of text. So we're going to reduce the text quite a bit more. And increase the leading a bit more. So there's a bit more space there, just a bit more breathing space for the text. And we'll just use our fingers and zoom in a bit more for that. And let's even make it fun. If we add some details, some specific details, it could be like a 2-scoop tiger tail. Let's see how that works. Bubblegum pocket lint, and a 2002 penny. I'll need 350 more for that 2-scoop tiger tail. ... And there's our gag, and and I think we'll even reduce that text more because it is just overpowering, this gag. We need to reduce that a little bit more just so it doesn't. Okay, and then we can either draw a balloon around that, but I don't think it needs that. I think we just need to go back to that layer where we drew it and just put a nice thick line to show that this is coming from our ice cream vendor here. So let's go back through the whole story here. Let's start at the start. Welcome to my world. This is how I write almost every comic strip gag. I go right from the start, write it right through to the end, and then I review and I make sure everything works all right. I go right to the start. Is this the way I want it to start? Okay, and just modify it. Okay, he reaches in his pocket, finds the lint or whatever he's found, several things. He's found them. Okay, so he's smile on his face. With the smile on his face, he's walking over to the ice cream stand. And the ice cream vendor has it in his hand now. So this is quite a bit of stuff has gone on here. As far as I'm concerned, for writing a gag, we've got a lot of activity here. But it's important to do that for the reader. The reader has to see that something's gone on because that is what we do. We don't see comic strips about people standing there, picking their nose or shuffling their feet, and then that's the end of the gag. You got to have a payoff. It has to go somewhere. It has to reach a logical and satisfying conclusion for the reader. So this is hopefully what, and that's the other thing too. If it triggers you as being a funny idea or an idea that you like, then chances are the audience will as well. So it's all really guessing games and will this work, and do I like this, and will someone else like this? You'll be doing this all the time, but it will pay off. Trust me. So we have our punchline here: bubblegum, pocket lint, and a 2002 penny. I'll need 350 more for that 2-scoop tiger tail. Okay, so and then the overall gag is, as you can see, flows better. And the payoff, it's very logical, and your eye goes to that last panel where the payoff is, and that's what you want. You want everything else to kind of look like it's leading up to something, and it's leading up to something much bigger than it's where it started off. Okay, and that's always a very important part of your gag writing process. So I hope I helped out there. Now this ended up being a four panel note without panel borders gag, and you see it looks pretty effective. It's not. It's very simple. It's very, every panel is pretty distinct from the others. Like these first 3 panels open up, and you've got your progression of ideas here. And then this final one is the payoff. It's the final part of the idea. And, you don't need borders. A lot of people say, well, I have to draw the borders. How do you do them? Well, you don't really have to do them. You just have to make sure your ideas are clear enough, and what's going on is clear enough in each individual piece of the strip. And then you've got a good solid punch that is different and distinct and stands out from the rest of the gag. Okay, well let's just go through the whole process again because it is quite a process here. Let's go into a 3-panel gag. Let's get rid of that text there. Okay, so we're going to look at a 3-panel gag. And I've put panel borders in this one because I've made a template. I basically made a template for 3-panel gags, 2-panel gags, and 4-panel gags, including a single panel gag too, which is really exciting. And if you can write single panel gags, it's really it's probably the most challenging of all. You have to create something that, if you don't have any verbiage, you have to create everything in a picture. All the elements have to tell the story in one illustration. So that is a talent, that is a skill that many people have, but it's something that you do have to work on, and it doesn't just happen naturally. It's a lot of the process that we just went through, going back, making sure all the elements are there to get the full idea across. That's the whole process of doing that. And let's go to the 3-panel gag. So let's. I thought ahead here, and I had some figures. So in panel 1, in the 3-panel gag, we need to establish the gag. Where are we? Who are there? And why are they there? What are they doing there? This all has to be established within that first panel. Now, the good thing about having a regular comic strip is that quite often it is established maybe in the title, or that the characters are almost always in one place. So sometimes if you've done that, if you've established that in a comic strip that's a regular comic strip, that's already established where you are. And the other thing too is quite often you don't even if you know the characters, who they are, you don't really even need to know where they are. It's those two characters who they're together. You may not need to know where they are; they're just together, and they if they are together regularly, they've developed a shorthand basically. So that's, if you're lucky and you can do that, it sure saves you a lot of time having to explain it all the time. But quite often if you can establish who they are, it's not always necessary to establish what they're doing or where they are. Anyway, so we have two people here. You have one taller person and one shorter person. So you need to develop a relationship between the two people. And who are the two people? Why are they together? Where are they? How do we start this off? It's the same old thing, blank page. There's a number of things that could be happening here. I just basically drew a couple of figures in the drawing. I haven't done any preconceived concept of what they would be doing together, why they would be together, or anything. But I thought I would make one taller than the other. So my thinking was one could be a parent and one could be a child. The taller one could be the parent. The shorter one could be the child. Or it could be, let's see, it could be many things. It could be a teacher and a student. It could be a person standing on a telephone book talking to somebody the same size as them, or it could be somebody standing on the floor talking to somebody in a hole in the floor. Whatever it is, you have to establish it now. What's going on? Who are they? Why are we seeing this? Okay, so this is again, it's the old blank page. Make sense of it. I often equate comics to improv because, and I do improv. I know about it, and it's it amazes me how similar the two disciplines are. With cartooning, you are basically creating a short vignette of a story, and ideally it has a punchline, but it's usually a little more polished than an improv punchline, but it isn't necessarily more funny. but so many of the creative aspects are similar, like making sense of things, verifying things, and why are things the way they are in the scene. And that's exactly what I do in cartooning, and what all cartoonists do. So to go through the same disciplines and in the two different art styles, one's a performance style, the other is very much an art on paper style. So what we're going to do is, okay, we're going to make a choice here. We have to make a choice, just like in improv. Make a choice. This is going to be on the right side. It will be let's make it a parent. This could be a father figure here. So we're going to put a tie on him. Let's get the right. Let's get the right panel activated here. So we're going to put a tie on him. This is the dad. So we're going to create a bit of a caricature here, or we're going to do the old dad's got the white tie and white shirt. What's the term I'm looking for? We've pigeonholed him. This is dad. This is what dads look like. They got a white tie and a black tie, white shirt. And this is a child. So what, a boy, girl, what kind of child? Okay, let's make him a very young child. Put a beanie on his head with a little propeller here. Put a little beanie on him, and okay, so now we've got our child character here. So we've got some caricatures going. Let's get the dad here, put some big horn rim glasses on him here. I don't know if we need ears or not, but anyway, let's just do that. Let's go that far. This is our two characters, a parent figure and a child here. So let's give our dad a bit of a comb over here. Have fun with the characters here. So we've got a couple of these characters here, the father and the son, the child. And so we've got to make sure that we keep the elements in each scene here. So we'll go the same here. We'll have the propeller and the beanie, and we're just going to go ahead and make those. We'll keep those consistent in each panel. We'll make the big horn rim glasses here, and the comb over, of course. And must not forget the stereotypical, that was the word I was looking for, stereotypical tie and white shirt here. And now we've got two scenes that are identical here. That is, to me, as a cartoonist, I can't do that. I can't have exactly the same scene, one after the other. I've got to change it somehow. So this is, but to me, the thing it does is builds the story. You change it up from scene to scene, and it builds a story. So we have no action here. That's fine. That's our establishing shot. Here, I'm going to maybe have the dad reaching out and pointing a finger at Junior here. Okay, so that changes it up here. It gives it a little action. There's movement here now. So this is interesting for the reader. We haven't got any gag established yet. We've just brought the story a little further. So we've gone from they're standing here statically, looking at each other. Obviously, there's a bit of a distance between them, so there's a problem, or maybe not. I don't know. But it looks to me like a good situation that you could build around. Maybe a bit of a problem between the two characters. Well, there you've established it. You've got father pointing at Junior. You've established what maybe Junior's done something wrong. It could be 100 things. You just need to think of what that is, and then your punchline has to come in the last panel. So for this one, you could. And I'm not going to try to write a great gag, but I'm going to try to final. come to a final way to finish off the strip here. So it could be Junior has said, sorry, Dad, I broke your car window with my baseball or something, or, I damaged the car. I did something I shouldn't have done. So he's confessing something, and the father's saying, I told you not to do that. Okay, so we've already established a pretty familiar relationship issue. And then at the punchline could be because here we've got the father like, you shouldn't do this, and I told you not to do this. So we've already built in this thing where the father is going to have to receive karma in some way, or somehow the kid is going to come out just looking a little more human. Maybe didn't mean to, but he did come and confess. So that's a good thing. That's very a nice quality to have in comics, to come and confess to your parents, I did something and I didn't mean to. The father's kind of reacting here, so maybe this punchline could be, and again, I'm going to establish the distance between the characters again. So I'm going to have the father a little further away, and the one we've established as the kid is got his beanies going the opposite direction. Okay, he's got a smile on his face, and maybe he's looking back kind of coyly. Maybe some. So we know this is how we want it to end. We want it to end with the father being kind of tuned in, if we will, with some punchline. Okay, because we've got this thing going here. He said, sorry. ... I'm not going to write the whole gag. Just going to say, sorry, I told you. And then the punchline could have something to do with when you were my age. Okay, this is very simply breaking it down. Okay. So this wouldn't be your final gag, but this would be where it's going. Okay. You're sorry, Dad. I told you. And then he's saying something, well, when you were my age, you did the same thing. So come on. Punchline. And Dad's like, ooh. Maybe kind of a finger to the face, like, oh, yeah, now I remember. I was just as bad. Okay, so got to remember his tie. Stereotypical dad tie, so that's very important. And there you have it. And just in a few simple lines, you can tighten up the writing, but you've got it all established there. The whole idea comes together. Okay. So that's a 3-panel gag. So again, we have the 3 elements. So the establishment of the gag. Who's here? Where are we? Setup. Okay, so we're taking the story along. We want a punchline, so we've got to set it up. We've got to set up the final. Yeah, so this is if you're doing a movie, this is your climax. This is where it comes to where all the forces are facing each other, and you're building to the how are we going to resolve this problem? Okay, so you set it up. Here's the problem. The dad says, I told you. Okay, you set it up, and your punchline, your payoff, your denouement is right here in this panel here. So yeah, when you were my age, you did the same thing. So yeah, give me a break. You told me when you did the same thing. Okay, so there's your And it's the same with 2-panel gags, 3-panel gags, what have you. It's let's try a 2-panel gag. If we use the same type of characters here, and how are we doing for time? I think we're getting a little close to the end here, but I think we got some time to just add something here. So we're going into the 2-panel. We're going to create a layer here to do a 2-panel gag. So let's just do a quickie here. Let's tell the same story here. We got the father and the son and the beanie and the dad with the tie, the glasses, and we could just skip right to the "I told you." Okay, so you might not even need, as long as you establish the relationship. As I said, you've kind of established the whole thing, so you could forget that whole first part and just say, "I told you," and have him pointing at him and everything. And then have the punchline, him walking away, and yeah, when you were a kid, you did the same thing. Let's just improve that a bit. Okay, so there's your 2-panel gag. Your establishment, E, and setup, all in one panel, and then your punchline, PL, all in one panel. That's how you do 1 panel, or sorry, 2 panels. 1 panel, it could be just you could actually even tie this up in 1 panel, and I'll show you very quickly how you could do that. You could have in the 1-panel gag. You could have the little boy here, not even having to say anything, just kind of a smile on his face. The dad saying, "I told you." Tie, pointing finger, all in 1 panel. And maybe a photo on the wall of him as a boy, looking like the other little boy, and then, I don't know, a house with a broken window or something on the wall. So there you go. There's ways of telling it all in 1 panel, and we've showed you there. This could be maybe 1931 as a boy. And that's the gag writing process. Yeah, and you just have to figure out which way you want to tell it. But it can be done many different ways. I would go back to our main thing is just to get a sketch pad or get on your iPad and just start doodling something. And that is your point A always. And then when you start writing the gag, be prepared to go back and forth, beginning to end, run it through, do a run through. Does everything work here? What's missing here? What didn't I, when I changed this part of the gag, what part did I miss in the rest of the gag that I have to make work together with it? So it is an interesting process, but it's a lot of fun, and anybody can do it. It's not something that, it does take training to get better at it, but it's not something that I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm the only one that can do it. You can do it. Anybody can do it. It's just a matter of sitting down, wanting to do it, and working at it. And you might sketch 15 gags like that and not come up with one that you really want to do, but then you may hit on the one that is just the one that you wanted to do. So and you'll know it when you find it, because you'll say, yeah. It's really exciting when you get those moments where you've found exactly what you want to do and you can put it together. So so your establishment is always important, your setup and your punchline. So and it happens every time you do a comic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels, it's all in that. So I hope I helped you today. it certainly was a lot of fun for me. And I'm going to, if Tom, if you're there, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, that was fantastic. Really, a lot of great insight again. And I think what we've been, really discussing a lot with the, the CreatorSpace project and these workshops, the blank screen idea really is, expressing yourself, right? So telling the story, expressing yourself, and it's not, it doesn't matter necessarily what your level of drawing technical skill is. Like Jeff said, you just you can get better and better. You can come up with different things, but just being able to express yourself and telling that story, right? I think what I really got from the workshop is a fantastic way, right? Like taking things from that blank screen, and being able to share a story, expressing yourself, whatever that story is, whatever that statement is. It's just good to get it out and draw on, right? So you're getting out of that blank screen and getting something on there. So I think that's really fantastic to hear. So yeah, thanks again, Jeff. A fantastic workshop. You can watch this right here on the same Vimeo link. We've been posting all our series from August on YouTube. So there's some of the masterclass stuff that Jeff's been presenting over the summer. So those are all available on our YouTube channel. You can watch it there, and they're there now. And we're gonna get into some more in-person stuff. So stay tuned. We're looking at some more January workshops ongoing, and we also have our Adventures in Digital Arts programming for youth. So we're for 8 to 13-year-olds. So those are happening at the Wasaga Beach Public Library and the Blue Mountains Public Library. So do check those out if you have a child, or if you are watching this and you are that age, please do come and check it out. And there's wait lists potentially as well, but just sign up, and then we can know and figure out how to get as many people involved as possible to be able to take the workshops. But in the meantime, this is how you can continue watching and joining us if you can't get into the in-person in terms of class sizes. But we hope to see you again soon. And next week we'll have another live session. We'll be looking at the going from creating some characters, so superheroes. We'll be getting into that as well. So thanks again, Jeff. Fantastic workshop. And just want to thank all our partners again. So we have the Canada Council for the Arts, and then we have all our library partners. We have the Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, and the Wasaga Beach Library. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.